AITA for not having a funeral? I am not Oop. Oop is you, ad hot 6302. He posted in r, am I the asshole? Your fun fact to cover up spoilers. You, Wayfarer guinea pig requested capybaras. Capybaras are excellent swimmers and can stay underwater for up to 5 minutes at a time. Per one source. His scientific name for capybara comes from hydrocharis, which means water hog in Greek. Trigger warning. Terminal illness. Harassment. Less than. Mood spoiler. Surprisingly hopeful. Less than. Original post. January 25, 2023. 29M. Will be honest. I most probably have 46 months to live. I am being treated for multiple myeloma for 14 months and it is not going good. 3 weeks ago, I was offered palliative care because it was chemo-resistant this time, plus I didn't want to participate any clinical trials and we started for arrangements. At my first visit with the palliative care service, I was offered after-death planning assistance. I am spiritual but I am not bound to any religious institutions. I want my body to be buried directly without any layers between me and earth. I also don't want any grave or any memorial stone. When I die, I want my body to be sent to a forest. Bury me and let my body dissolve into the nature. I have a really minimal relationship with my family. I was seen as an outcast most of the time. I am neither academic nor have an interest in the family company. And after high school, I moved into my way. My late grandfather left each of their 6 grandkids a portfolio that was worth $700,000 and I used it to buy a 2-bedroom house. Renting it, had a training in plumbing and start an investment account. The union I am working with has really good worker rights and I immigrated to Canada 7 years ago as a skilled worker, so healthcare isn't a big money problem for me. I also have a 1+1 house to live in Vancouver, which I am currently residing in. I have a hospice worker team that checks on me daily. I didn't tell them I have cancer until 2022 December. Until that time, it was going fine and I could manage myself. I even turned back to work between 2022 July and December, but right now, I am swiftly declining. Last week, Mom and Dad came and visit me. They asked me a bunch of questions, then the topic of funeral rose up and I told I wouldn't be having any. They tried to start a fight but my hospice worker escorted them out. All of my siblings said I was too harsh on them and they needed time to accept the facts, and they said I was having the right from their hand to mourn by not having a funeral, and this made me feel guilty. So, AITA? Relevant comments. What does his family want? They want a full-on Catholic funeral. I do not identify as a Catholic and I don't want to be buried in a coffin. I want my body directly touching to the earth. Don't want an intermediary between them. More about why he wants what he wants. I am scared of being buried in a coffin and having a tombstone. I want neither of them. I want my body to be dissociated in the nature as soon as possible after I die. This is thing that makes me feel disturbed. They can do whatever they want unless it is with my body. I would prefer my family to be done with the memorial that my union will hold, but I know they probably won't and it is their right not to be done with. I see body as a vessel to my spirit and after my death, so when my spirit isn't there, I don't want my body to be present. I also don't want to be burned because the ingredients of my corpse are useful for the world. I sometimes have the dream of seeing a cherry blossom tree growing between my cages to the infinity. After I am buried, do you have someone who will make sure this happens? I looked into this and I have a solid will and funeral instructions from my lawyer in the union. Our union lawyer accepted to be my executor of the will. I am legally bound, but the problem is morally. Did he check laws about burial? In Vancouver it is legal if you have a predetermined area, but we need to prepare a document for That lawyer said he would handle it this week, who is also the executor. But we might also probably buy a little plot and bury me there in a forest the area. Oop is voted no assholes here. Update post. February 16th, 2023. 3 weeks later. Hello to everyone who commented here and to the persons who PM'd me. Thanks for all of your suggestions, and to the guy who said he will cover my legal fees. Thanks, but my union already does that. I couldn't add the link, so I would be glad if mods adds it somewhere. This is a positive update. Not about my family but about myself. My family is a shenanigan by themselves that I will talk later in the text. 4 days later I posted this. I got a phone call from my hematologist. There is a new drug that was recently approved for the treatment of him, and he suggested me to try it, and I accepted it. It is just approved at August 2022. We started it a week ago and I am feeling better. Maybe it is placebo. Maybe it is seriously working, I don't know, but I am currently in treatment. Left the palliative care and turned back to treatment care. 10 days later I will have a PET-CT scan to look if there are any regressions, but my hematologist is really positive and thinks this is working, and for once in the last 6 months. My blood count is near to normal. Yesterday I managed to walk a mile without a shortness of breath, so this is a win. These are the good news. And now there are the bad news. My family did not take the news of me having a lawyer to arrange my funerals that well. They came to my city, tried to find the house I was living, not the building my hospice care took place, where my parents have visited me before. And they even tried to pester my hematologist to give them my house address, and my siblings tried to pester the union office to give the information they have about me. If my hematologist haven't given me a head up, I would be clueless about all of that. Myself, him and the union have filed for harassment to the police, and all of them currently have demand C&D equivalent in Canada letters against them. There is also an inadmissibility case going on against them, and they are deported to US. The last mail I got them from was disturbing, and all of my hometown is bashing through my DMs, and I know nothing will be right in their eyes. I am even planning to give my US passport up. I am also a Canadian citizen, so I won't have any ties with that place. They still think I am bound to death, but I am not planning to say anything to them about the current treatment. After the treatment, maybe I will send a letter via my lawyer. I also learned my lawyer consulted my case to his friend who does these kind of cases, and he helped him to organize everything in legal sense. In case if everything goes south, I have a stern plan and will that I don't have to worry about. If I am in remission, well, I still have my ducks in a line and I won't have to worry about a thing. My last funeral plan is, I bought a land that I will be buried with a cotton shroud as Muslims do, and that land will be forested after my burial. I won't have anyone in the funeral other than my lawyer and my union director. It is all written in the will with very clear details, and union director said, each and everyone should have their own right to decide how they should be treated after death. I am glad that I have this kind of support. Thank you very much, everyone. The strange thing is that OOP's family can still have their own funeral, or memorial, or wake. They can still grieve the way they want to. I'm glad they have strong support to help them in their final wishes. I really like his plans for afterlife. Being buried without a coffin and giving his body to the forest that will be planted after is truly a dream. I feel for Oop. I definitely get the back to earth wish. A lot more people are opting for it. There are specialized places for this exact type of burial. Tree and all. Kinda nice. I was discussing this stuff with my mom. She isn't sick or anything. We are all just weird enough. Mentioned human composting. Definitely something we are all considering. helping instead of harming the environment. None of us visit the dead anyway. I don't want to contact OOP, but as a person who has had cancer and researched burial options, there's at least one option with growing support that buries you vertically underneath the sapling, in a biodegradable container, with the idea that the tree will quickly grow roots into the container, turning a tree into a living burial monument. I think it's a beautiful idea, and I'd be surprised if a multicultural and progressive city like Vancouver doesn't have at least one mortuary company offering this type of burial. This is what I want. Jews also get cotton and a pine box, but I don't want a cemetery. I want to be near a beach. I want to be a pretty tree with strong branches for kids to play on, so I can have all the things I didn't get in life. A beach, to be pretty, and friends. No one cares if a tree is autistic like they do people. I want to be a place of joy and peace for others. To put that into the world. I'm with OOP on this one. Honestly, that's kinda hilarious. They would much rather go scorched earth and want you to die on their terms. Literal freaks emo. Rather than just patiently wait for a message that says, guess what? I'm on a treatment that seems to be working, so your own child will most likely live a long life. Say what you want, but religion can be a mind-numbing poison. This is why pre-planning is super important. Find out who your next of kin, authorized representative is. Find out what's legal and permitted. Human composting. Cremation via water instead of fuel. Green burials. There is more than just burial or fire cremation in some areas. Write down what you want and have it notarized. You can always update it along the way as things change. Just always keep a current copy with your authorized rep or stick it in an envelope on your fridge, with other important notes in case you're taken to the hospital and are unconscious. This will help the EMTs and DRs. Label it so they know. And find a bright colored envelope. I worked in funeral homes and crematoriums. You don't usually know when your time is up, so plan ahead. OOP doesn't write like an American English speaker, and I wonder what the story with that is. They definitely have the right to have what they want done with their own body, though that's solid both morally and legally. I'm intrigued by the fact that you can be buried in a cotton shroud legally in Canada. I wasn't aware Muslims did that. That appeals to me too. As someone who doesn't like the idea of being injected full of poisons and preservatives before being buried, I too would prefer to stay compostable. Okay, I'm sorry. Why are there so many young people on AITA with lots of money or a house they inherited or something? I totally vibe with wanting to be buried straight into the dirt. Where I live, I'm sure it's not legal. But I did find out there are a couple places that make eco-friendly coffins. My mom was Catholic. When she passed, the entire extended family met at our favorite pizza place and we spent hours sharing good food and good memories. That was the only service she asked for. As someone who recently discussed how I'd prefer to have whatever bits used up, then eat chipped and fertilizing blackberry bushes, I understand. For the longest time I saw cremation as the only option for me. But in a shroud directly in the earth seems so wholesome. I hope OOP is doing okay. I feel so sad for OOP that this is the thing their family focuses on, instead of, the living human in front of them. Love that we have tree burial. I'm the most impressed with his union, and the civilized medical care he is receiving grace of the Canadian healthcare system. I can just imagine American right-wingers shrieking, socialism, at the very thought of this. I don't know if it's just me, but I get the vibe they may want OOP's money. I could be wrong, but nobody would quickly harass someone who is dying like that and try to get their neighbors in on it. Seriously, if they really cared, they would let Oop have some peace so Oop can make up their mind if they want to talk or not. If anyone is interested in green burial options like this guy wants, check out Order of the Good Death or ask a mortician on YouTube. There are so many options now. You can even donate yourself to a body farm to advance forensic science if you want. And everyone should be able to choose what happens to their remains, so I'm with Oop. Personally, I want to be cremated and scattered in the same spot we scattered my MIL's ashes. And FIL's and several dogs. My so wants the same, so we'd all be in the same place. I've already spoken to my mom about this and she's fine with it. I did this also. Had my lawyer friend do my last wishes to a testament. No funeral, no coffin to bury to cemetery, and no tombstone. I am not a religious person, so I don't want anything to do in church. Just want my ashes to release somewhere on ocean. It also takes pressure from my close ones to stress about anything if I go before them.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.